I grew up with a mom and dad who loved me to death. My mom was a school teacher. My dad worked as a salesman. At a young age, I started playing soccer when I was about 4 or 5 years old, and then I became really good at soccer. And by the time I was around like 8 or 9, I was playing on traveling teams. I got recruited to play for a team called the Chicago Magic, which was the #1 ranked soccer club in the country for youth. Now that I look back on it, I recognize when I was a kid, there was something different about me. I always had to seek attention. If I played a sport, I had to be the best at it, or else I didn't want to play it anymore. When it came to school, I had to get good grades, or else, so I could get the satisfaction of my parents giving me a pat on the back. But then when I was in class, I was a class clown because I wanted the attention from my schoolmates. I continued to use it, alcohol and marijuana or whatever I could get my hands on, because I loved the feeling. I loved the way it made me feel. I felt as if I didn't need attention, and I felt, free. It just kept progressing, alcohol, and then marijuana, cocaine, prescription pills, until I was about 16 years old and I was using heroin. And I remember the first time I tried Oxycontins and got the feeling from it, I didn't want to do anything else anymore. I felt like it was like a warm blanket was put around me, or that I was untouchable. And then I remember I had like about a $300 a day heroin habit. And I was so sick. I was tired of living like this, but I couldn't stop. I've been incarcerated 26 times. My whole life, from the age of 13 to the age of 24, I was in and out of jail. My dad got to walk upstairs and walk into a room and see his baby boy slunched over. And I remember looking up at him, and all I can think to say is, why? Why couldn't you just let me die? They left the hospital that day and they put a restraining order on me because they couldn't have me around anymore. They didn't want to watch their son die. The night that had everything kind of came to a close, where my life began to change, I went and I bought a bunch of heroin. At the time, I'm homeless. I buy the heroin, I go to McDonald's and I get high. And I'm sitting in the parking lot. In my car, I got a guy with me who's had a warrant for like 3 years. I'm in this amazing car, right? This car was like 16 different colors. And it had a piece from every junkyard in Chicago on it. And I pull out and I forget to turn on my lights. And when I'm driving down the street, lo and behold, there's a cop. And I turn my lights on and he gets behind me and pulls me over. And I pull over into this alleyway area. And you know what? I felt like this sense of peace, because I had over $200 worth of heroin in the car. The cop gets out, and his name was Officer Cicero, and he walks up to the car, and he knocks on my window, and he says, "What you doing out here?" And I said, "I'm buying dope, sir." He said, "Okay." He says, "You got license, registration?" I say, "No, sir." He shines his flashlight. I mean, he sees the stuff that's in the car. He says, "Are you on any type of papers?" I said, "Yes, sir. I just got out of the penitentiary on December 7th, 2012. And he's like, "Okay." He totally just goes back to his car. I see a couple police officers pull in, and when you're living this life and you see a couple other police officers pull in, you would say, "I know what time it is." And I felt a sense of relief because I knew I was going back to prison. And I knew how to live in prison, but I didn't know how to live on the streets. And he walks back up to my car, and I'm like, "Okay, here we go." And in his hand, he has a piece of paper. He reaches into my car, and he hands me the piece of paper. And on this piece of paper, it was a warning. And he looks me in the eye with compassion, and he says, "Kid, it looks like you need some help. Go get some help." And I'm like, "Okay, here we go. I'm gonna leave here and I'm gonna kill myself with heroin. I won't have to be a burden on my family. I won't have to be a burden to myself or to society." And I'm ready to go. And I had no belief in religion or higher power at this time. And I hit my knees, and for some reason, I look up and I say, "Whoever you are, whatever you are, either help me or take me, because I can't keep living like this." Tears are pouring down my face. I'm crying, I'm sad, I'm depressed. I don't know what to do, but I just know I can't keep feeling like this, and I can't keep going down this path. I'm tired of it. Sure enough, a knock on the door happens. And it's the director of the program, and her name was Lynn, and she was like this 5'0" lady. And Lynn was known to be the meanest lady that worked at the place. And she kind of reminded you, the way she acted and looked, like a little mean bulldog. Lynn stepped into the room. She said, "Are you all right?" And I said, "Does it look like I'm all right? Can I get my keys to the car out of the locker? I'm gonna go. I can't do this. I won't make it." She said, "Give me 1 minute." When he grabbed me, he said, he was like, "Come on, kid." And I was like, "Man, I really don't want to hear this." He sat down across from me. And for the first time in a long time, Barry didn't tell me what to do. Barry looked at me with compassion and love in his heart. And he sat there and began to talk with me. And he said, "Kid, you can either get busy living or you can keep on dying. The choice is up to you." He just gave me this like gung-ho Rocky speech. He said, "Kid, I know you might feel alone. I know you might feel scared and hopeless. But I just want you to know you're not alone. I want you to know that I love you." And that man that day gave me that much hope. And with that hope came, that night I went and I started doing whatever the treatment center told me to. I broke the record for the longest person they ever had at that treatment center. I got invited to meals, I got invited out to eat, and then from there, over the years, things changed and, they became more trustful of me. This summer, we went fishing in Florida. My dad got a boat charter and we went fishing. I talk to my mom every day. I talk to her today, and all she can say is, "I'm proud of you." I got down on one knee. Now I have a fiance. I want others to learn that if that police officer didn't have the compassion to help somebody that day and just did what he was trained to do and just bring you back to jail, then I wouldn't be able to be the person I am today. I have a greater purpose, And that man helped me find that greater purpose that day. I can't take away my past. I can't change my past. But what I can do is change my future and continue to strive to be better every single day. And the only way I know to do that is to help other people. I strongly believe, and people hear me talk about it all the time, but a moment of hope. So don't be ashamed to ask, no matter if it's your first time or your 50th time. Don't give up. Ask for help and keep asking for help. Your life can change. I'm living proof that it can change.